this is Kelly Finley, and this is Real Estate University. Today we're going to talk about what you need to know in order to stop being a frustrated buyer, which if you are a buyer and you're looking for a house, let's say under $600,000, $700,000, in our area, anything under that price, if you're a buyer, you're probably frustrated. You can't find a house that you want. When you find a house that you want, you don't get to, it's already gone before you get to buy it, or you get an offer in, but someone else's offer is chosen above yours. All of those things are probably causing you frustration in today's market where we simply don't have enough good homes for the number of buyers who are looking. So we're going to move you from being a frustrated buyer and we're going to make you into a happy home owner who was successful in their goal of buying a home. So I'm actually going to do this in 3 different parts. There's a lot of information. Today we're going to talk about your preparation. How do you get prepared to be successful in buying a home? Next segment, we're going to talk about relationships. Relationships are really important in real estate, and not in any situation more so than when you are a buyer dealing with multiple offers, dealing with a market that has really low inventory. Those relationships become really important. And in the last segment, and this is the one I almost hope my agent friends don't watch, because I'm going to tell you all the tricks that you can, not tricks, it's not like we're being tricky, the way that you can change the terms of your offer so that it becomes compelling and attractive to a seller. And when you do that, you end up a happy homeowner. So today we're going to talk about preparation. Today on the TV, maybe many of you have been watching the US Open tennis tournament. That's a competition, right? And those girls, I think it's Azarenka and Osaka, are playing this afternoon, Osaka. And those girls aren't just going to show up today and be like, well, here I am, ready to play some tennis. I hope I figured it out. No, they're prepared. They have their body prepared. They have their mind prepared. They know who their opponent is. They know what their goals are, and they know how to get there. They have coaches that help them through that process. Well, in this market, we call it a competitive market because it's kind of a competition. There are other buyers who want what you want. You want to come out on top, and in order to do that, you need to be prepared. So the first area that you need to be prepared in is your housing situation, right? So if you're a renter, great situation. You have nothing to worry about. If you have cash, woohoo, you are the Roger Federer or the Serena Williams of the buying world. You have cash, you can pay, you got nothing to worry about. You have a lot of power out there. You're going to be acing it left and right. And then your third situation, which is the situation most people are in, is they own a home right now. They have to sell that home in order to get the cash out for their down payment for their next house. If that is your situation, you need to get that home sold before you get serious about buying another one. No seller in this market is going to accept a sales contingency. It's just not going to happen. And until you get real about that, you're not going to be successful. Unless, now if you're buying like a fixer-upper or an investment home, something like that, maybe. But if you want a home in a good neighborhood that's move-in ready, that's super cute, that has an open concept, you want the same thing that everybody else wants, and a sale contingency is not going to fly. That probably means that you're going to need some short-term housing. Lean on your real estate agent. She should have some options to offer you in that scenario, and that can be worked out. But make sure you do not have a sale contingency. Okay, so that's your housing situation. You're prepared in that way. Next is your finances. You have to have your finances prepared so that when you find that house you're looking for, there's nothing else to be worried about, right? Number 1 is your down payment. I'm just going to say a short thing about that. The higher your down payment, the more attractive your offer will be to the owners who are selling and to the listing agent who will be advising them. Here, I'll tell you why. Let's pretend that you are a buyer who is only putting 5% down. Once we get to that due diligence period where we're going through inspections, if there is something wrong with the house, someone who only has 5% down, as a listing agent, I know they don't have a lot of cash floating around. So I assume that when we get to that part of the negotiation where we're talking about what the seller is going to fix before closing, you're going to need them to fix everything. Whereas someone who's putting 20% down has a little cash on hand. they have a little more leeway in what they need the seller to do to make this situation work. So we want to make sure that you have as much down payment as possible. That's a long-term goal, but think about it as you work towards being a buyer. The second part of being financially prepared is getting that loan situation locked down, secured. Number one, make sure you're working with a local lender. Please do not go online and do a pre-qualification on some 15-minute online gig at 10 o'clock at night. As easy as that is for you to do, it also gives me as the listing agent the impression that I don't really give a lot of credence to what that pre-qualification is telling me. So use a local lender, and if you can use one that has a relationship with your real estate agent, woo, yay, that's another bonus point right in your corner, because that's going to go back to the relationships. As the listing agent, as the seller, we can check in with that lender, get some good information from them, get some verification that it's not just him doing a 15-minute phone call conversation to know that you are a good buyer, but that he really understands you, he knows you. When he says you're qualified, it means you're actually qualified. Now there are three different levels of qualification. Pre-qualification, it's okay. Pre-approval, much better, I like it. But if you can get certified pre-approved, that's the way to go in this competitive market. Okay, so that means that the lender has already pulled your credit. They've already verified your income. They've checked with your employer. They know with pretty much certainty that you are going to qualify for this loan. And as the seller, I look at that offer and I say, okay, that's low risk for me, and I want to work with someone who is in that situation. So look for a lender who offers that service. The third thing you need to do to prepare is to think about your intellectual and emotional preparedness. Okay, so you got your housing taken care of, you got your finances taken care of, but you need to get emotionally ready for the competition that's about to start. You're going to go into a house, hopefully, at some point and say, this is the one. You can't take 2 or 3 days to think about it, to check with your cousin, to think about if this is the neighborhood where you want to live, to research the schools. By that time, the house is gone. Someone else has already bought it and is going to be living in your house. You need to be ready. So the first thing I'm going to tell you to do to help that happen is go and see a few houses before you're really prepared in other ways to buy a house. Go see maybe 5 to 7 houses. You need to understand that houses in this neighborhood are the ones you're looking for. You need to be excited about houses that have open concept or that have a great backyard or in the school district, so that when you get there, you are ready and you don't have to think about those things in the moment. One way to do this is to use an agent who is a local expert, because she's going to be able to give you immediate feedback. When you go and see a house, standing in that house, you say, ooh, it's listed at $450,000. That feels a little bit high to me. Do I want to spend that much? She'll be able to answer that question on the spot, and it won't take a couple days to figure out. And then you can put in that offer with full confidence that you're ready. Now, intellectually, that goes back to understanding the market, knowing what price per square foot looks like in certain neighborhoods, know what things people are willing to pay for, know if buyers are paying full price, maybe they're paying overprice, maybe they're normally doing a little less. Are they willing to pay seller-paid closing costs? Those are questions to ask your agent, who will be able to answer them so that you have that information when you get to the point where you're ready to make that offer. Here we are. I often list homes that have multiple offers. In fact, I listed one yesterday. We have 10 showings in the first 2 days. I'm expecting multiple offers, and I know what my sellers and I will be looking for. So use this information, become a prepared buyer, so that when you find that house of your dreams, you can move from a frustrated buyer to a happy home owner. I hope you've learned a lot today, and look for that next segment, which will be on how important relationships are in the buying process. Have a great afternoon.